What's going on, everyone? So, Mark Consuelos is going to be in the upcoming Scream 7, and he is going to play basically Gale Weathers' rival, right? He's going to play a role in which, he's supposed to kind of just be that pain in Gale's side, that thorn in her side, playing a character named Robbie. And the question is like, everything's so quiet and low key about him, right? Like we've heard stuff about pretty much all the other characters at some point, but like no one's really talking about Mark in this film. We haven't really gotten much details and information about him in this film other than, that he's kind of the competition to Gale Weathers, right? And that they're supposed to kind of have some heated conversations, and Gale's dealing with cancel culture and stuff. Like, is it something where maybe Robbie is the one that's kind of causing that? Like, is he the one that's maybe causing the stir, or kind of like dumping the fuel on the fire? Also, I'm curious to see, how is he as a actor? How is he in this role? I mean, he's playing essentially what he is in real life. So I imagine it's just like, hey, play a kind of, D-bag version of yourself type thing, and just everything you've ever wanted to say, here you go type thing. Just say it the way you want to say it type thing. But, there's also the questions of like, how many similarities are there going to be to him in, say a Debbie Salt, Mrs. Loomis? Obviously, that also naturally brings you to the question of, is he getting into being the killer like Debbie Salt? I really personally hope that they don't do a Mrs. Loomis 2.0. I hope that what this is, yeah, sure, maybe you have a similar character. You have somebody that's just, he's the new hot, reporter on the scene, and he's the guy that's trying to get the scoop, and he just is maybe beating Gale at every corner, and just like I said, the leading the competition. But in reality, he's in over his head. In reality, he's never experienced Ghostface. He's never been in this situation. And maybe you have some moments where you kind of think, okay, maybe he is Ghostface. Maybe are they really about to do a Debbie Salt 2.0 thing? Are they really about to go down that road again? But ultimately, it's not. Ultimately, he ends up dying, meeting his end, and becomes Ghostface fodder. Right? Like, that at least is kind of my hope, right? Like, again, I'm all for him being in this film. Robbie Rivers is the name. Pine Grove. He's the reporter. He's the big guy in Pine Grove. Obviously, he's in where, like, so Gale comes to Pine Grove, with Sydney. So he's the guy that's there. So, it kind of, I'm assuming, again, I don't know. I'm assuming that this is something along the lines of like, you're treaching on my territory, right? Gale, Chad, Mindy, they're kind of teaming up to try to, solve the case and crack the code, and discover an unmasked Ghostface and all that stuff. And, and Robbie's like, Gale's trying to get the scoops and interview people and all that stuff. And Robbie's just coming in like, hey, wait a minute, time out. Like, this is my town. You're in my small town. I'm the guy here. This is my story. This is my scoop. These are my interviews. These are my victims, right? And like, kind of, instead of kind of like how media is, right? Like, who cares about the dead people? Like, I'm trying to make some money here, right? Like, kind of messed up, which is, I mean, unfortunately, that's the world we live in, right? Like, that's the reality we live in. And you kind of have this competition. But, unless he's like new to the town, right? Would they really make him Ghostface, right? Maybe he's kind of like, he was a news reporter elsewhere and then came into town, and then the Ghostface attacks started happening. Because, like, if he's somebody that's just been in the town as like a reporter for 20 years, right? Like, kind of hard to be like, okay, well, why did it take 20 years for you to now finally kill Sydney? Because unless Sydney's just, new to the town type thing. Like, so I would imagine, he's probably not. But you could lean into the whole, like, what if Gale was the killer, right? Like, like Randy said, she she reports the news, staging the news, right? Like, what if he's the one that's out here kind of staging the news, right? Like he's somebody that it's like, hey, this town is too quiet, whatever. You got Sydney here. Um, I want to boost my ratings. I want to become the guy, right? I want to be the one to take out Sydney and report the story and be the one, right? Be the hero type thing. And then ultimately maybe he does become Ghostface. Maybe that's the route that they go. Like I said, personally, I don't want them to go that route. Personally, I kind of want them to stay away. I just, again, let him kind of be the a-hole reporter. He's looking at it as like, Gail, you're washed up. Like she's dealing with cancel culture. She's frustrated. She's, bumping heads with them. Her and Robbie are just going head to head. Robbie's, like I said, kind of one step ahead. Like it'd be nice to kind of have it to where, every time Gail ends up somewhere, he's leaving. And she's kind of like, and it kind of makes us as audience believe like maybe he's Ghostface because he kind of seems to know where to be at the right time. And he's beating Gail, who never, Gail's always gets the scoop. Gail always figures it out type thing, blah, 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 blah. And, Robbie just seems like either he's Ghostface or he's on top of it and just, crushing the competition type thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, he meets his end. And because in reality, he's in over his head. And in reality, this isn't a normal story. This isn't a normal report. This isn't your normal run of the mill thing. No, and it's actually, Ghostface. Ghostface is going to get you. And you've never been in this situation. You've never experienced this. Gail has. So you're on her turf. You're in her territory, right? Like, I think that is something that could be kind of fun and entertaining, right? Because I don't want to Mrs. Loomis, Debbie Salt 2.0. I know Jake loves it. I know, Jake, Mrs. Loomis is his favorite, and Debbie Salt, like he just can't get enough of and just really wants her to return. But personally, for me, I don't. For me, I want them to stay as far away from, that as possible. I don't mind Gail having some competition. I don't mind, Gail kind of, having somebody that's just kind of an a-hole and looks at it as like, again, you're in my territory. This is my town, right? These are my people. This is my story, my scoop. Like I'm okay. I'm all down for something like that. I just want them to stop redoing and recycling the past personally, but anyways, always, this is a discussion. I pass question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? Hey, Phil, what are your thoughts? First off, are you excited for his character? What do you think is going to happen with Robbie? What do you think happens with Gail and Robbie? Do you think that they clash? Do you want him to be Ghostface? Do you want him to not? Kind of like what I was talking about where, it's something where he kind of just seems to always be one step ahead, but he's too blind. He doesn't realize that, like, oh no, he's about to die. Like he's out of his league in reality, right? Like it's only halftime, like, and you're already acting like you won the game type thing. I review whatever your thoughts are either way. Love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. If you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.